Tinubu's allies come for Atiku's head and gives condition for Asiwaju to engage ex-vice president. The Cold War between the presidential candidates of the APC and the PDP continued at the weekend, with no truce likely anytime soon. Nigerian News reports that the PDP had challenged Tinubu to subject himself to an hour media interview to test if he would be mentally present. Allies of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC presidential candidate, have boasted that the former Lagos state governor will trounce the former vice president Atiku Abubakar of the PDP in any debate. I mean, okay. It's funny because I'm not trying to doubt that Tinubu and, Atiku have supporters, but it's funny because their competitor, their opposition, Peter Obi, has been granting interviews. At this point, he's literally done so much work in showing his character that you don't necessarily need Peter Obi to enter a debate. Not that we don't need to. I mean, if he needs to enter like a presidential debate, yes. Now he's going to start to give us specifics of his manifesto. I mean, he's already done so many media rounds in terms of asserting himself. And I guess, to be honest, he really had to do the work because, yes, he grew in popularity, but in terms of that stronghold, you'd say that Tinubu and Atiku, because they've been in politics for years, people just know them by name, just even if it's just the name, not what they do, but for the fact that they're in politics and it is their name, they're already known. So I guess obviously Peter Obi has to do that work. But it's funny because it just seems as though PDP and APC are just like, you know what, we're going to put Peter Obi to the side and we're going to continue as usual. It is very funny. It would be interesting, and I think, to be honest, it is good that they're competing. Let's actually challenge them and let the country see if any of them, or not even either, if any of them are even worthy to be the president of Nigeria, to be the future president. And yeah, I think, to be honest, let the competition drag. Let's intensify it. Let's stretch them, because for both of them and the records that they have, and for them to think that they can just decide that they want to be president, we should take this opportunity and stretch them out. And again, we haven't necessarily seen them come out to say that there's going to be for a debate. It's more their supporters arguing amongst each other. Well, I hope Pranav Murphy will come out and try to be a referee and watch out for any sort of argument or any sort of bullying, online bullying. That is very funny. Very, very funny. Please, let them tell us their achievements and show us the road to the future. We voters should not fight each other. And I think Tinubu allies must be checked because Atiku, I believe, said Tinubu should submit himself for an hour debate like he did with Arise to test his ability to do any debate with him. I think they should be preparing their Lord to face debate without fumbling around. I think it obviously is easier. Why a presidential debate is also needed. Yes, of course, they can go have media rounds, but it's also important that they also face each other. Let's see who's going to size each other. I mean, again, it's an experiment. Let's see, these people are competing to be the president, and it'll be let's see how the dynamic would be. How would they communicate amongst each other? I mean, again, we're not trying to say that there aren't other political candidates, but imagine Peter Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu in one room. And to be honest, it's funny because both of them are at least 20 years older than Peter Obi is. So it'd be really funny. It would be funny and interesting to see how they relate with each other, to be honest, because it's a different thing to have the confidence when you're alone and when no one is challenging your position. You're able to speak your best. You're able to assert yourself the best. And I mean, if we then have all of them together in one room, in one setting where we throw questions at them and see who's more worthy, we will get to see who is actually knowledgeable, what tactics would they use to assert themselves? Would anyone be intimidated? Would anyone try to manipulate or, try to use anyone to win and push an argument? We would then see, and the capacity to also debate as well, and know the depth of, to know their depth. Why do you want to be president? Why should we choose you to be president? In fact, I don't even think Peter Obi should even be part of it. I think both of them need to do it together, and there needs to be specific questions by the public asked by them, bringing back public records. Because again, let's say, for example, if Peter Obi is there and we're talking about integrity and we're talking about achievements in the past, it may turn to an exposing session. And I think maybe that's why they always avoid debates, because it would get so intense that what they start to do is start exposing each other indirectly. Not that they do it intentionally, of course, but if they know each other, they know what to say to put each other off. Again, I'm just saying, I'm imagining how the debate would go in my head. It hasn't even happened, but it must happen. Nigerians should demand for it. We don't want anybody speaking on behalf of Tinubu. Let him come out. We don't want another deadwood as president. That is not a far-fetched comment. Let him debate Atiku and stop making excuses. Tinubu too busy for debate. I laugh in Spanish. Would someone who could remember the name of his party sit for an hour interview? Well, we can see that, but the thing is, if he doesn't show up, he doesn't show up. But we also need to see somebody that apparently he's getting a lot of supporters, and so if he can't speak to us as a nation and see how he can articulate himself, then is this the kind of person that you would want to represent you internationally? Now, there would be a very big problem with that. If you have Tinubu, for example, giving a speech or going for some conference and he's unable. I mean, again, even with Buhari going for all these events, I'm just really surprised. I'm like, what is he going to say? I mean, he's sitting in panels with the likes of Paul Kagame, and I'm just like, wait, so what is Buhari actually going to say? If you're gonna compare to Rwanda and be like, okay, fine, this is what they're achieving. They're gonna talk about sustainability for future Africans, and then you have Buhari just there. It's pretty embarrassing. So, are you up for the debate? And could it be a tactic that they use, Bola Tinubu and Atiku would use their supporters to start, obviously, going back and forth to build relevance, and then, it serves as a distraction from something that we should actually be focusing on. It is what it is. You can put your own opinions and comments. Do not forget to like and subscribe.